morning, everybody. Happy Friday Eve to you. I'm Rob Evans. Welcome to Daybreak Plus. We're breaking down all the biggest news you may have missed overnight and digging deep into what matters to you. We begin with Eanes ISD. Leaders upset the Texas Department of Public Safety waited a month to tell them about a now former music teacher accused of possessing child pornography and taking photos of students. Now, court documents show DPS began surveillance of that man there, Zachary Barnett, while he was still teaching at Cedar Creek Elementary School. KVUE's Isabella Basco has the latest.
In 2022, Eanes ISD Superintendent Dr. Jeff Arnett says they hired a music teacher, Zachary Barnett, at Cedar Creek Elementary. He worked there for 3 years before he was arrested in February.
Our children and our students were exploited, so we're very upset.
In new court documents filed in Travis County, DPS investigators say Barnett possessed hundreds of files of child pornography depicting children under the age of 10. Investigators also say he took separate photos and videos of students from his classroom and then edited those in with the explicit content. According to the documents, there were almost 9,000 pictures and videos of female students from Barnett's class.
It was an affirmation that the world has some people in it that you don't want around your kids.
Jenny Davis has 2 kids who were taught by Barnett.
I think everybody is struggling with this in different ways.
The court documents also describe a game students played in the classroom called Freeze and Hold the Pose, where Barnett would allegedly take photos of students in compromising positions. Joshua Rivas is the father of a first grader who was taught by Barnett.
I feel betrayed. I feel angered. I feel like this administration has let every parent and every student down.
In an email sent to staff and families, the superintendent references the documents where DPS authorities began surveillance of Barnett in January 2025, a month before Eanes ISD police and administrators found out about his alleged crimes.
We would have immediately removed the person from the classroom at that time, so that was frustrating to us as well.
But for Rivas, he fears there is no going back for his family.
You failed us in every aspect. You failed our children, you failed us as well, and we won't stand for it any longer.
That was Isabella Basco. We did reach out to DPS for a comment, but have not heard back. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children does have resources for parents and communities on navigating digital safety, by the way, and we have a link for you on our website, KVUE.com. Well, the Texas House passed a bill yesterday that would ban the use of undisclosed altered images in political advertising. We're talking about AI, right? So this includes the AI-generated deep fakes. You really can't tell the difference sometimes. Have you seen them? Here's KVUE's Daniel Peralt.
Former House Speaker Dade Phelan authored House Bill 366. He was the subject of political attacks and memes during his recent re-election campaign. Mail-out flyers showed him hugging Democrat Nancy Pelosi, something that he never did. But he says that's not why he decided to file this bill. House Bill 366 requires any political advertising that uses altered images, including generative AI or deepfake videos, to contain a disclosure stating that the content did not actually occur. Failure to do so would be a Class A misdemeanor. Current state law prohibits the use of AI-generated pictures within 30 days of an election. Phelan says this is about making sure election law keeps up with the evolving AI industry because a deceptive ad could swing an election.
This is about what your voters believe and what my voters believe. It's not about us. And you and I will just be a face on a composite in the basement one day, and we won't be remembered. But if we don't protect our elections, and if we don't do something about the integrity that our voters see on a daily basis, all this is not worth it.
Several lawmakers lined up to speak against the bill. Some said the bill is too vague and could invite First Amendment legal challenges. Some conservatives also say the criminal penalties are too steep and people should not be thrown in jail for political speech.
The courts will strike this down. The TEC should not be an arbiter of truth in language, and we should stand against any time government wants to regulate speech.
Phelan says he understands that, but the penalties need to be major to make sure multi-million-dollar campaigns play by the rules. The bill now heads over to the Senate for consideration, and it could face an uphill battle in the upper chamber because Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick controls the Senate. Patrick and Phelan have had a rocky relationship in recent years, dating back to the impeachment of Attorney General Ken Paxton and Senate bills that have died over in the House in recent legislative sessions. At the Texas Capitol, Daniel Perot, KVUE News.
And the Texas House also passed a bill to restrict kids' access to social media. So this is House Bill 186, and it bans Texans under 18 from using social media and requires platforms to verify how old the user actually is. Parents, you can request platforms remove your kids' accounts, and the Texas Attorney General can penalize platforms that don't comply. The bill is sponsored, by the way, State Representative Jared Patterson. He says social media is the most dangerous legal thing that kids can get their hands on, and says it is as addictive as cigarettes. Take a listen.
I believe that this is the modern day cigarette. I think that we're going to wake up at some point in this country and realize what we have done to an entire generation of kids that are on this highly addictive product called social media. And I think that that's why there's a lot of concern about that.
Consequences aren't just for adolescents.
Now, the Texas House has also passed House Bill 499, which mandates social media companies display a warning label about the link between kids' social media use and mental health issues. The warning would appear every time a user opens the app. 7:07 right now. Let's get a look at weather and traffic with Casey and Hannah. Casey, starting with a muggy day, but I heard rumors of a cold front or a less muggy front.
Yeah, a cool front, we'll call it in quotation marks. Yes, it is going to be bringing some pleasant conditions in by this weekend, but today we're feeling the heat, we're feeling the humidity after we had those storms roll through at least our northern areas yesterday. That's where they had all the action, some heavy rain and even some pretty sizable hail in some of those locations like Georgetown, Taylor. We saw anywhere from tennis ball to golf ball size hail from some of those stronger storms that rolled on through. Now today, I think more of us will have the potential of seeing some rain and thunderstorms, some of which, again, could be some hail producers, produce some heavy rain, so that's something we'll have to watch out for later on today. Out the door right now, though, we are currently off to a dry start. This is our weather setup. This is the last little bit of the system that rolled through yesterday. We've got a lingering kind of washed out front that's to the north of us that's going to provide the oomph for some showers and storms later on today. And then we've got a cold front to the north of us that will eventually be pushing through for Friday. That'll bring us more storms as we head into Friday afternoon. So we still have 2 more rounds of thunderstorms to get through. Today, warm out ahead of that cold front, showers and storms developing by this afternoon, and then that front bringing what will be the highest chance for rain and storms we see out of the week tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be the wettest day out of the week so far. Heavy rain, widespread storms before that front moves through just in time for the weekend, bringing in some drier and cooler air for Saturday and Sunday. Today, though, winds out of the south pumping up the warmth and the humidity. We will really feel it by this afternoon. Partly cloudy sky, but mainly dry through the lunchtime hour and even into 1, 2 o'clock. Higher chances for showers and storms arrive after about 5 o'clock this evening. So we'll start to see these isolated at first up across the hill country. They'll start to the north, but generally progress southward over time. So notice as we head into 7, 8 o'clock, more of us will have a chance to see some rain, thunderstorms by this afternoon and evening compared to yesterday. I think we'll have some of them line up and down the I-35 corridor. We could see some hail again out of these, continuing through about 8, 9 o'clock, winding down as we head into tonight. Tomorrow, another warm, muggy start to the day. That front will be moving through around mid-afternoon. Out ahead of that, spotty showers returning by noon, 1 o'clock, and then we'll start to see widespread storms return by 3, 4, 5 o'clock. So the evening commute tomorrow, it could be a little bit messy. We're talking about some very heavy rain in spots, along with the potential to see some hail, some stronger storms, especially for those northern areas for tomorrow. But I do think by around Friday sunset, a lot of this will start to wind down. Some lingering showers and storms still across the area, but a lot of us by around Friday, 9 p.m. for those evening plans, it really won't be too bad. With then that drier air beginning to pull in from the north by Friday night. Our severe weather outlook today and tomorrow, we do have that risk, a level 1 risk today. It bumps up to a level 2 risk for the northern half of our viewing area for tomorrow. Another thing we'll be watching out for, an additional threat, is the potential of seeing some flooding. Today, at level 1 out of 4 risk to see some localized flooding. Tomorrow, that bumps up to a level 2 risk. So tomorrow, that heavy rain certainly could allow for some localized flooding, some flood advisories to be issued across the area. This takes us into the next couple days. We're talking about rainfall totals anywhere between 1 to possibly 3 inches, even some totals of up to 4 inches across the area where some of those heavy downpours happen to end up. So pretty good drink of water these next couple of days. That's certainly some good news. And then by Sunday, we've got a cool down. Notice by Sunday morning, we're talking about 50s, refreshingly cool as we kick off the tail end of the weekend with some of that cooler air being pulled in behind that front. 7-day forecast, storms today, widespread storms tomorrow. We fall from 93 degrees today back down into the lower 80s for your Saturday and Sunday. So there's that cool down that we'll especially feel with those cooler nights in the forecast. And then by next week, we'll return to a more active weather pattern by around Wednesday.
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm envisioning myself on Sunday morning sitting outside with a cup of coffee in the cool air. And we just got to get through these steamy storms the next couple days. Taking a look right now, you can see we're pretty much at a standstill coming in from South Austin in those northbound lanes. So really seeing some slowdowns there and kind of really across the map. Our crash count has been pretty low today, so that is a good thing. But, you know, definitely seeing some red light up out there. So through Mustang Ridge, you can see it there. You can see it starting in Kyle, approaching through Bluff Springs. You can see it on 290 if you're heading out towards Oak Hill. So kind of all feeling a little bit of that slowdown as we're heading out the door. We've also been seeing some stop and go coming in from Bastrop if you're heading out towards Del Valley today. And Georgetown looking a little bit better. It was kind of lit up red here in the southbound lanes at SH 29. So not as bad, but definitely, you know, we got some things here and there. So in Anderson Mill right now, I've got an active crash. Anderson Mill Road, that's from a little bit earlier, so I'm hoping they can clear that out. But that is impacting southbound travel not too far from Lakeline Mall. Good morning to you, Cedar Park. Aside from that, like I said, if you are coming in from Bastrop, kind of seeing some delays there, and it looks like that crash outside of the Tesla Gigafactory cleared up on the 130 toll road, so looking much better coming and going in from that area today. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. I am noticing a slowdown in the southbound lanes on Mopac starting at Shoreline. So here's 45, Lewis Henna, and then it's just kind of this little patch of slowdown right there if you were headed southbound towards that Domain area. But like I said, I mean, we've certainly seen worse around these parts, so shouldn't have a huge issue getting around as of right now. Please be careful with that potential for flooding. Always a friendly reminder, turn around, don't drown. We saw some impacts from that last night from my friends and family out in Dallas. Got kind of nasty there. Look at that beauty though, 13 miles per hour, so we're not moving fast, but hey, at least we don't have crashes. So finding the silver linings where I can, Rob. Eve, so that's a thing too.
Absolutely. Always the glass is half full, girl. I appreciate that, Hannah. Thank you very much. Well, the general May election is this Saturday, and parts of Central Texas will have to decide the results of elections of city council, school boards, school bonds. Here are just a few of the races we're taking a look at. We've got here Hayes CISD, Lockhart ISD, Dripping Springs ISD, all asking voters to approve bonds that include building a new school. Meanwhile, the city of Bastrop will have to decide on a new mayor. Again, Election Day, Saturday, polls are open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And nationally, President Donald Trump says he is in no rush to negotiate trade deals with China or any other country, despite the economic downturn here in the U.S. The president insists it'll all be worth it. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the details from Washington.
After starting a trade war that launched market turmoil and a murky economic forecast, President Trump now says he's in no rush to make deals to end it.
I'm in less of a hurry than you are. We are sitting on the catbird seat. They want us. We don't need them.
The president has insisted the stock market losses and rising prices will level the playing field and bring jobs back to the U.S. But during a town hall last night, he didn't offer a timeline as to when Americans will start reaping the benefits. At the nation's busiest port in Los Angeles, the number of cargo ships coming in next week is down 36% from this time last year. Retailers warn Trump's tariffs could soon lead to product shortages, with orders now being canceled, particularly on items from China, where nearly 80% of toys sold in the U.S. are made. Trump now suggesting kids may have to settle for fewer toys this year.
Well, maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls, you know.
New data shows the U.S. economy shrank in the first quarter, the GDP dropping 0.3%, the worst since 2022. And the S&P 500 ended Trump's 100th day down almost 8% compared to his first day in office. Trump, despite previously taking credit for stock market gains upon his return to the White House, now blames his predecessor.
You probably saw some numbers today. And I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump.
In her most extensive remarks since the election, former Vice President and presidential candidate Kamala Harris called out Trump's trade war.
So look, some people are describing what's been happening in recent months as absolute chaos. And of course, I understand why. And it's certainly true of those tariffs. Tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession.
Before Trump took office, the U.S. saw 33 straight months of economic growth under Biden. Consensus among economists is tariffs are the reason for the decline. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
716 and Habitat for Humanity celebrating the renewal of a partnership with internet, mobile, and TV provider Astound. Their workers volunteering to build homes in Austin yesterday. And Sam Luxton, you see right there, is the Vice President of Operations at Astound. He says the partnership is a win-win, helping people own a home they couldn't otherwise afford. And for the company, this is really a team-building event.
It is, and that's why I said, we talk to a lot of people on the phones or email, but be able to meet face-to-face and then join in on something that, a single project where you can actually see the fruits of your labor at the end of the day is pretty rewarding.
They were working hard out there. April, by the way, is a National Fair Housing Month, which commemorates the passing of the 1968 Fair Housing Act, the landmark legislation officially prohibiting discrimination in housing sales. And happening now, people living in North Austin are calling on city leaders to address a nearby homeless encampment. They say it's putting their community at risk. People who live at the Park at Quail Creek apartment say they have faced problems for years. They report seeing constant fires, hearing gunshots, and witnessing erratic behavior at that nearby homeless camp. They tell us they worry about their family's safety and they thought about moving out. Now they want city officials to come up with a permanent solution. And Mary Jo Zappone is one of those people asking for a change. Take a listen.
I've lived here for 36 years, and the first 30 were pretty peaceful. We didn't have, that I recall. And the last 5 or 6 years has been the problem with the homeless. So I went out, and there was this young fella dancing around on my roof, banging on the shingles and laughing.
Councilmember Chito Vela, who represents the district, says the city's HEAL initiative targets encampments on public land, but this site is actually private property, and that limits city authority. Austin Police District reps are collaborating with the property owner, though, and code department to address the issue. Vela urging people to just keep reporting concerns to 311. And this morning, a baseball fan recovering in the hospital after a scary fall from the stands at a Pittsburgh Pirates game. Players taking a knee as medical crews rushed out to where he fell. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the story.
This morning, baseball fans left in shock after a man fell from the bleachers at Pittsburgh's PNC Park, landing on the field during the Pirates game.
When you look at it like in slow-mo, he just looked like he was like jolting up because it was a huge play.
Bobby Ketter shot the video showing the fan dropping about 20 feet. He says at first he had no idea he captured the fall.
Next thing you know, the girl behind me was like, "Hey, did you record that?" And my dad's next to me. He was like, "Look at the stretchers in the outfield."
Players were seen frantically trying to alert umpires and security as the man lay on the warning track.
The fact of how it went down and then, laying motionless, like while the play's going on, it's extremely unfortunate. I mean, that's an understatement.
The game was paused for about 10 minutes. Players took a knee as medical personnel loaded the man onto a cart, rushing him to the hospital.
Obviously a very, scary moment, and just you kind of see like everybody's taking a knee and just praying and hoping everything's okay.
People have died from falls at baseball stadiums, including in 2015 when a Braves fan fell from the upper deck at Turner Field. And in 2011, a man at a Rangers game died after falling about 20 feet, reaching for a ball for his son tossed into the stands by a player. Major League Baseball has taken steps to improve safety, recently requiring each team to expand netting that protects fans from foul balls. The Pirates reacting to last night's incident, saying their thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. That fan was listed in critical condition overnight. Pittsburgh police say detectives from the Violent Crime Unit are investigating but did not elaborate on what may have led to the fall. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Well, every week here on KVUE, Hannah Rucker features a different child in Texas foster care in the hopes of helping them be adopted and find a forever family. And this week we meet a bright and talented little girl ready to roll into a new chapter. Meet Layla.
Like you have to put one foot to the side, then keep the other foot straight.
It's a cloudy morning in Austin, Texas, and 11-year-old Layla is teaching us the tips and tricks to roller skating.
So how do you get over the fear of falling?
It's just that you just have to hold yourself up.
You just have to hold yourself up?
Yeah. Like balance yourself.
She's a sweet girl in Texas foster care who's about to finish the 5th grade. Layla was joined by 2 members of the Rockin' City Roller Girls, the roller derby team in Round Rock.
If we wanted to go out, we all kind of have to move as a unit.
What's your favorite thing about roller skating?
That you get to do like tricks.
They say each member has to come up with a nickname. They settled on Layup Lele for Layla since she also loves basketball.
My nickname is Lele.
Lele?
That's Lele.
Lele. Layup Lele. Layup Lele.
When we sat down, Layla started to get a little bit sad because she says it was actually her older sister who taught her how to roller skate, but her sister lives somewhere else right now, which can sometimes happen in foster care for different reasons. She says her dream job would be to run a daycare someday because she loves other children.
It's because I like babies. Because at my old foster home, I used to have 2 baby brothers.
Layla also likes to dance and cheer. She's a quick learner, and she's eager to try to find a forever home before she gets into middle school in the fall. To learn more about her, maybe even how to adopt her, you can go to kvu.com/foreverfamilies. And we leave you this morning with something to talk about. And take a look at this, something you don't see often. Maybe you've never seen it before.
There's a kangaroo hopping down the road.
Yep, there's a kangaroo hopping down the road in Alabama. Yeah, causing a backup on the interstate. So this animal escaped from a nearby petting zoo. Officials say, first off, those are fast, by the way. Look how fast that guy is. It caused actually a minor 2-car crash. Both cars were trying to avoid hitting the animal. Good news is everybody was okay, and the kangaroo was riled up, reunited with its owner. Just something you don't ever see. That's it for Daybreak Plus. Let us know what you would like to talk about. Message us at a 512-459-9442. You have to text. Calling it doesn't work. 512-459-9442. You can also message me at on socials at Rob Evans TV on Insta, Facebook, or X. And stick around because Daybreak continues right here on KVUE Plus. Goodbye, everybody.